Ashish, thanks a lot for joining us today for our videocast with India Insurtech Association.
Hey, hi Shubhajit. Thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to this.
So, Ashish, let's kickstart with an intro about yourself as well as about your company, Aureus.
Sure. So, Shubhajit, I'm a science graduate and then did my business management. Uh, Aureus for me is a second venture. The main idea of starting Aureus was because when we started in 2013, right, data was considered the new gold. And what we realized is that at that point of time, insurance, banking, healthcare were all trying to use data and leverage data to kind of get more out of their data, right? And initially, with our experience, we thought we will do all three verticals, but very soon realized as a startup, you could only do one. And that's how we picked insurance, because compared to healthcare and banking in 2013, they were a little bit behind in terms of data analytics. So that's how Aureus was born in 2013.
But you started hinting towards the lessons learned while building a company, right? You thought you could do all, and then you started with one, right? Why don't
Yeah.
we take that and start talking about a few lessons learned in your Aureus' journey?
Me and my other founders' previous experience was managing a services company, right? And for Aureus, we were very clear that we want to be a product company and not a services company. So we actually went and met some business users of insurance company to understand how they leverage data and how they use data analytics. And in 2013, we were pleasantly surprised that when we met our first customer who's with us even now, so it's the first customer, and when we met them, they actually used to give data on a CD to a vendor who would then do some modeling work and give them back, right? And the business guy said, Ashish, the problem is that by the time I give him data, he works, he comes back, I have lost the time, right? So if I want to run a campaign now, I don't get, because by the time the modeling and all happens, it's a 2-3 month gap, and those insights actually does not help me. And that's where the idea of Crux kind of was born, right? And we felt that what if we could kind of give a tool, a platform to the business users where they can actually do things themselves related to retention, cross sell, upsell, claims, fraud, right? So you built a platform where they have all of their data, they get a single view of the customer as a starting point. And then on top of it, we started building modules as we, started working with them. But the first challenge we realized, one, data was disparate. The second thing, the guys told me that, Ashish, even before we begin analytics, we actually don't know much about the customer, right? So we don't know how many policies he has. We don't have a single view of the customer because the data lies in different systems. So that's where we thought that the first thing we could build is the single view, the one view of the customer. That's how the journey started. And as we went on, Subhajit, we started building more and more modules over it, right? So the first point was to get all data together, give them a one view of a customer along with household, and build predictive models on top of it. But gradually, we've also developed something called a Centimeter, and we can talk as we kind of go ahead on this talk.
Before going to the Centimeter, thanks for the pause there, Ashish. A very important question I have. 2013 till now, like my experience says those problems still exist. Like so, 10 years, those problems don't seem to have gone away. And you are agreeing, right? So, any reason why you think insurers haven't caught up to the fact that these are important, needed, and those structural problems still exist?
So I think one point I would like to highlight is that they have come a long way from 2013 to 20, right? But there are 2-3 important things. One is changing their legacy system by itself is a big challenge, right? Because they all have invested very heavy in all these legacy systems. So it's not easy for them to just discard it one fine day and say that I'll bring something new. But what they have done now is that they are actually kind of evolving over that. And that's where, like, let's say vendors like us, we've got Crux, which actually integrate. So they don't have to do any more investment onto the system side, I would say, right? Or the infra side. There has been a good amount of evolvement over the years. But one, as I said, the legacy system. Second, I think the challenge which still remains today, the quality of data, right? Because so to answer your question, there are these 2-3 issues which is related to legacy system, the quality of data, the getting the analytics piece built up from 2013 to now, right? So while they have been a bit behind, but I would say now it's much more evolved, right? So now insurance companies use analytics on an ongoing basis. Some of them have started to build their own teams, right? So it's evolved, but those certain challenges still do remain, Shubhaji.
That's very well summarized, Ashish, in terms of the structural problems, right? And I guess that's where the opportunity lies as well, right? Let's move to Centimeter. I sense there's some interesting story there. How did that evolve?
Okay, so Centimeter evolved a little bit later in our journey, right? So first few years, we actually just went and sold trucks to insurance. We said that, look, I'll give you OneView. On top of OneView, I have household, and on top of household, I can build predictive models for you, right? I think come 2016, early 2017, we started realizing that competition also started coming. You know, the legacy systems, what I talked earlier, started improving. So the CRM started improving. And what happened is the insurers came back to me and said, Ashish, now the CRM also gives me a OneView, right? So why do I need your OneView? What we realized is that while predictive piece was working, household and all was working, we needed something different. And when we were working with all of these insurers, we are in the market, we realized that one thing which was missing in this ecosystem is actually knowing the sentiment of a customer. This is where Centimeter comes in, right? So what we did is that Centimeter does just not take the explicit feedback which comes via this surveys or a complaint, but it also actually takes the implicit feedback and the behavior of the customer. Centimeter actually captures all of this, whether it's bought another policy, whether it's lapsed, whether the SLA has been addressed within TAT or not. And it kind of gives them a score on a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 to 40 are your unhappy customers, 40 to 70 are your customers sitting on fence, and 70 to 100 are your happy customers. So now what suddenly happens with Centimeter is that even before you go for the prediction piece, you actually know today that if I have 100,000 customers, how many of them are happy? And what we also do is with Centimeter, what we call is influencers. So we let them know what's the reason for that. So it's just not giving a score, but also saying that if Shubhajit's score is 80, why is he happy? If Ashish's score is 40, why is he unhappy? So this kind of makes it easier for them to engage with a customer, know the reasons of, you know, their happy or unhappiness, solve that reason, and then go for the predictive. Then helps them from that perspective.
Very good. Thank you so much for the product stories. It seems that the Centimeter was more or less a product discovery journey for yourself. You started with one and you went to another. So that's also a very good example for our viewers to learn from. Great. Thank you so much for your time, Ashish. We'll catch up again maybe another year's time. That is what we intend to do with all our IIA members as part of the video cast, and make this a story to grow upon, where we follow your growth over time. And that will give us some very good sense. So thanks a lot for your time.
Sure. Thanks very much. Yeah, nice talking to you.